Lyra's POV. I never intended to fuck my best friend's alpha dad, but I'd be a damn liar if I said I hadn't fantasized about it, dreamed about it, tasted it behind my closed eyelids with my legs spread and my fingers dripping between my thighs. Yeah, I know how that sounds. I'm not sorry, because every girl has a first crush. Mine just happened to be a man who could kill with his bare hands, command an army of wolves, and make my thighs tremble just by walking into a room. Damon Thornvale, alpha, billionaire, beast in human skin, and the man who made me come for the first time without ever touching me. I used to touch myself to the sound of his footsteps, the deep rumble of his voice, the way he said my name, Lyra, like he owned it, like he owned me. And maybe he did. I was a bit younger the first time I came thinking about him. I can't remember what age, but I know I was fully aware of how I felt. Locked in Tasha's bathroom with the lights off, panties pulled to the side, my back arched and my face buried in a towel so no one could hear me moan. I'd seen him shirtless that day, just once. A glimpse in the hallway. I couldn't stop thinking about the way his chest rose when he breathed, the cut of his hips, the way he'd looked at me, like he knew I was already wet, that I was already his. I bit down on the towel and shoved 2 fingers inside. I came in 30 seconds, and then again. And again, I was addicted. To a man twice my age, my best friend's father. A god among monsters, and I didn't give a fuck. Every summer I spent at Thornvale, I watched him, in silence, in secret, my legs always crossed, my panties always damp, because even as a teenager I understood what Damon Thornvale was. He wasn't just off limits, he was forbidden. Sin with a cock the size of my fucking forearm and a voice that made my pussy flutter. He wasn't mine, but I wanted him to ruin me. I didn't want gentle. I didn't want slow. I wanted him to bend me over the dining table while the maids watched. I wanted him to fuck me in the shower loud enough for Tasha to hear. I wanted him to make me scream "Daddy" while he filled me so full I couldn't walk. I didn't want to be loved. I wanted to be used. And now, I'm 18, legal, fuckable, and back in the place that started it all. Thornvale Estate, where the walls remember every wet dream, where the floors remember every barefoot sprint toward the room I wasn't allowed near, where the scent of him still lingers cigars, blood, sweat, and sex. The gates closed behind me with a sound that made my spine stiffen. Clang, like a coffin. I clutched my bag tighter. Lyra! Her voice cracked the thoughts in my head, and then she was there. Tasha Thornvale, my best friend in all her chaotic, sun-drenched glory, blonde hair wild, lips glossed, legs long and bare in tiny pink shorts that hugged her ass like a second skin. She ran down the steps barefoot, boobs bouncing like they were trying to escape her tank top. My mouth dried. Her tits were bigger than last year. Full, round, perfect. She wasn't wearing a bra. Of course she wasn't. Her nipples were hard from the wind, and her grin was wicked. "My goddess, you look grown," she squealed, grabbing me in a hug that smelled like perfume, pool chlorine, and secrets. Her tits pressed right up against mine. "You've got boobs now," I laughed, blushed, tried not to stare at the way hers bounced when she pulled back and threw her arms wide. "What? Last year you were flatter than my iPad. Now look at you." She twirled in place like a drunk fairy, then wiggled her ass with a playful slap. "You're gonna make my life hell, aren't you?" "Shut up," I muttered, heat rising in my cheeks as I tucked a curl behind my ear. But I was smiling. Because for a second, it almost felt like we were still girls, still sneaking wine from the cellar, still peeking into forbidden halls, still pretending we didn't know what lived behind that door at the end of the West Wing. "Come on," she said, grabbing my hand and tugging me toward the mansion. "Daddy redid the whole house. It's insane now." Her tits bounced with every step. Her shorts rode higher with every swing of her hips. Like leather couches, marble floors, new guards who look like they fuck with their guns still strapped on. I blinked. Sounds intense. "You have no idea," she tossed her hair. "Couches so deep you'll drown in them. And the pool." She stopped walking, turned, grabbed her tits and jiggled them. "The pool is so sexy, it made my nipples hard." I choked. "Tasha." "I mean, look." she laughed, cupping her boobs and squeezing. Permanent diamonds, babe. Daddy made it aesthetic or whatever. Black tiles, underwater lights, no rules. I gave a blowjob on a floaty last week. You're gonna have the best fucking summer. Jesus. Her laugh rang through the courtyard as she pulled me toward the looming black estate. Thornvale, 3 stories of danger dressed in sharp angles. There were guards by the door, big, unsmiling, watching. I felt their eyes skim my legs, my chest, my face. I didn't look back. Because I already knew where the real threat was. Inside, the front doors opened with a sound like breath being sucked from a grave. Cold air hit my skin and made my nipples peek beneath my hoodie. The atmosphere had a mint, smoke, leather smell, and something darker. Alpha, him, I clenched my thighs. No, not now, not in front of her. But goddess, the house smelled like him, like his sheets, like sweat and sex and blood. I followed her deeper, past the chandeliers, past the black carpets, past the oil paintings of wolves with blood dripping from their jaws. This place isn't a house, I whispered. She glanced at me over her shoulder. It's a fucking kingdom, I finished. Tasha smirked. Yeah, and Daddy's the king, which means you better behave. She winked, licking gloss off her bottom lip. Unless you want him to punish you. My knees almost buckled. She didn't mean it like that, but my cunt clenched anyway. She opened a door. This is your room. The space was unreal. Creams, silks, candles, big bed, view of the courtyard, everything was giving luxury. And that was when I saw him, through the window, sword in hand, shirtless, muscles glistening in the sun like oil poured over rage. Damon, alpha, king of this fucking nightmare. His body moved like a weapon, every strike of the sword brutal, every twist of his torso pornographic. I bit my lip so hard it bled. Then he turned, and he saw me, our eyes locked. Blue. Fucking blue, like frostbite, like punishment. And then he smiled, not warm, not kind, but cold. I stumbled back from the window like I'd been yanked by the soul. My thighs were soaked. My chest was heaving. My panties were fucking ruined. Tasha, I rasped. She didn't answer. I turned. She was gone, like the house had swallowed her whole. And now I was alone, with his scent crawling up my spine, with my pussy clenching like it was begging for a cock I hadn't even seen yet, with the ghost of that smile dragging me down to my knees. I backed away from the window. I needed to breathe. I needed to change. I needed to get my fucking fingers inside me before I screamed. Because if Damon Thornvale didn't fuck me soon, I was going to go insane. And the worst part, I'd let him, gladly. I reached between my legs just to check. I was dripping. Fuck, that was fast. And he hadn't even laid a fucking finger on me, not yet, but he will. Because this summer, I'm not leaving Thornvale untouched. He's going to fuck me, not me. Breed me. Make me scream his name with tears on my cheeks and his cum pouring out of me in thick, endless waves. And when it's over, I'm going to crawl back for more. This is not a story. This is a warning. You're about to enter a world where girls get on their knees for their best friend's daddy and beg to be used like filthy, desperate sluts. If you don't want to cum, put this book down. Because by the time Damon's done with me, you'll be soaked too. Lyra's POV. I sat at the edge of the bed like a fucking ghost. Legs pressed tight together, toes curling against the carpet, eyes locked on my own reflection like I didn't recognize the girl staring back at me. My skin was flushed, my cheeks pink, my nipples hard enough to show through the tank top, and between my thighs, a constant pulsing ache. So swollen I could feel my heartbeat in my clit. I looked ruined, fucked, and he hadn't even touched me yet. All he'd done was look. One stare from that balcony and my body turned to heat. One fucking smirk and I'd nearly creamed my panties in the goddamn pool. I couldn't stop seeing it. The way he stood there, shirtless, sword glinting in the sun like some ancient fucking god made of violence and testosterone. The way his eyes devoured me. No smile, just hunger. Then that smirk, that promise. It was the kind of look that said he knew. What I smelled like, what I tasted like, what I'd do for him if he just crooked a finger. I should have looked away. I couldn't, he had me already. Lyra, Tasha's voice snapped through the silence. I jerked, blinking at her as she stepped out of the ensuite, towel clinging to her hips, droplets of water sliding down her bare tits like pearls down silk. Her nipples were perky and hard. Her tits, fucking perfect. Plump, upturned, freckled with droplets. She looked like a porn star in a summer movie. What are you even doing? She giggled. You've been staring at yourself, like a serial killer for 10 minutes. I wasn't. I cleared my throat, forcing my thighs apart a little, trying to cool the heat pulsing between them. Just zoning out. Tasha rolled her eyes and dropped the towel with zero shame, standing there in nothing but a lacy pink thong while she rummaged through her drawer. Her tits bounced with every move bare, jiggly, happy as fuck to be seen. She didn't care that I was staring. She never had. And goddess, she looked good. No bra, no filter. Just long legs, smooth skin, and a rack that looked sculpted by the moon goddess herself. The way she bent over to grab a crop top made her tits sway and jiggle like they were begging for attention. "You're so weird sometimes," she said, tugging on the top without a second thought. "But hot, so it's fine. We'll just say you're the quiet, mysterious one and I'm the reckless whore." "Tasha," she spun, grinning. "What? It's true. I've got one brain cell and two amazing tits. Look." She grabbed them, jiggled them. "Fun bags, Lyra. Actual fun. And we're gonna use the hell out of them this summer." I laughed, blushed, and shook my head. She stepped close and smushed her boobs together like a sandwich. "Pool, boys, wine, orgies. Just kidding, unless," I choked. "You're insane. And you're coming with me. First pool, then ice cream. Then we fuck around in the wine cellar until Daddy catches us and grounds us like we're still 16. At the mention of her dad, my breath hitched. Tasha didn't notice. She just slipped into tiny shorts, if you could call them that, and flounced to the mirror. Her tits bounced the whole way. I stared at her reflection, not at her tits, not really, at the ring on her dresser. His ring. Damon Thornvale's alpha ring. Thick, silver. Heavy with power. My thighs clenched. She grabbed her sunglasses, tied her hair up, and looked at me. "You coming?" "I'll meet you there," I croaked. "Just need a sec," she shrugged. "Don't keep Daddy waiting, he hates that." I froze, she winked. "Kidding." And then she was gone. The red one-piece clung to my body like a second skin, cut high on the hips, low on the chest. So tight I could feel my heartbeat in my nipples. I slipped into it with trembling fingers. No bra, no panties, just wet skin and soaked fantasies. I didn't even care what it looked like. I wanted him to see me, to smell the heat between my legs from a fucking mile away. The pool was already packed when I stepped outside. Girls draped over lounge chairs in barely their bikinis. Boys cannonballing off the rocks. Laughter echoed under the sun like sin having a party. The air smelled like coconut oil, chlorine, and teenage recklessness. But when I walked out in my red one-piece, everything shifted. Eyes dragged. Whispers started. Thirst bloomed. Because the suit was fucking good. Painted to my skin. High on the hips, deep between the tits. Thin enough that when I got wet, it turned fucking transparent. And I wanted it that way. I wanted them to look. I wanted him to smell it. Tasha met me by the edge of the pool, tits bouncing in a lime green bikini that barely held her in. Her nipples were hard as diamonds under the thin fabric, and she didn't give a single fuck. "Oh my goddess," she squealed, grabbing my hand. "You look so fucking hot." "You think?" "I think if my dad sees you in that, he's gonna lock you in the basement and never let you leave." I laughed, but my thighs clenched, because that didn't sound like a punishment. It sounded like a promise. Tasha spun and slapped her own ass. "Come on, everyone's here. We're doing shots on the floaties." I followed her down the stairs into the water, the cold slicing against my heat, my nipples hardening instantly. It felt filthy, like a tease, like a fuck waiting to happen. There were at least 6 people already in the pool. Molly, black hair, big tits, chewing her straw like it was a cock. Her top was red and practically useless, her nipples dark and pushing against the soaked triangles. Violet curvy, thick, always pouting. Her bikini was gold. Her tits floated on the surface of the water like soft sex toys begging for hands. Sophia, tiny, tan, loud. Her string top was slipping and she didn't even bother to fix it. 3 boys were near the deep end. Big, tall, alpha-blooded, practically naked. Their shorts clung to thick, veiny calves that swelled the fabric. I couldn't stop looking. Matteo, tattooed, scar across his brow. Romano. Quiet, broody, but packing a cock that curved like a weapon, heavy enough to swing in his shorts every time he moved. And Nico, cocky as fuck. His bulge was massive, thick at the base, fat at the tip. The kind that made your jaw ache just thinking about it. I swam slowly, feeling the water glide over my body like a stranger's tongue. When I surfaced, Tasha handed me a shot. To filthy fucking summers, she grinned. We clinked. We drank. The burn was nothing compared to what I felt inside. I missed you so much, she whispered, wet and drunk and glittering in the sun. This summer's gonna ruin us. She pressed her lips to my cheek. Her tits brushed my chest, her fingers lingered. Then someone pushed her under. Chaos broke out, splashes, screams, laughter, and in the middle of it, Mateo. He climbed out of the pool like sin rising from the deep. Water poured off his chest. His shorts clung to his thighs. His cock bulged like it was trying to break free. My mouth went dry. Then Romano grabbed Violet waist underwater and pulled her into his lap. She gasped. Loud slapped his chest, moaned when he bit her shoulder. No one cared. No one looked away. Violet ground her hips against him, moaning louder, wet sounds echoing as the water sloshed. He pulled her bikini to the side under the surface. I could see the motion, his hand, her twitch. She was riding his fingers, right there in the pool. I turned to Nico. He winked at me, then swam up behind Sophia and wrapped his arms around her chest. One hand palmed her tit, the other slipped beneath the water. She arched back against him with a filthy little moan. Tasha was laughing, her nipples poking out, her legs brushing mine, and I was soaked. But not from the pool. I moved to the edge, climbed up, sat on the hot tile with my legs dangling in. That's when I felt it. Him, the stare, my spine straightened, my nipples tightened. I didn't need to look, but I did, high above. Second floor balcony. Damon, leaning on the railing, shirtless again, cocky, dangerous, unmoving, just watching. His eyes locked on me like a sniper's scope, like he could see my cunt clenching through the water, like he could smell what was leaking out of me. I should have covered myself. I didn't. I arched my back a little, spread my knees just a hair. Let him look. I wanted him hard. I wanted him furious. I wanted him down here with his hand on my throat and my body bent over the nearest chair. The pool exploded with moans. Sophia was getting fingered hard now. Nico's hand worked beneath the water while her head rolled back, mouth open, tits bouncing. Violet was full-on grinding on Romano's cock. I could see it through the water, the movement, the tension, the way her tits slapped against his chest. Her moans were real. Tasha laughed again, then swam toward me, breasts bouncing in the water, tongue flicking out to taste salt or sex or both. "You okay?" she asked, grabbing the edge beside me. I nodded, barely breathing. Her hand found my thigh under the water. "You're trembling," she whispered. I looked at her, then looked up. Damon was still there, watching. Tasha didn't follow my gaze. She didn't know. She just leaned close. Her voice was a purr. "You want to be fucked so bad, don't you?" I couldn't speak. She dragged her fingers higher, past my thigh, under my suit. Straight to my pussy. I jerked. She didn't stop. "I knew it," she giggled. "You're soaked, and it's not the pool."